This episode of the Laugh Dance Praise podcast is brought to you by Laugh Dance Praise LLC. Remember to always laugh, dance, and give God all the praise.
Welcome, everybody, to the Laugh Dance Praise podcast. I'm your host, Onour. For my first-time listeners, I'll get to my proper introduction in a second. For my first, second, third, fourth, on my season 1, now season 2 listeners, what it do? And now, for my first-time listeners, my name is Onour. I'm a Christian first, which means, yes, I am a follower of Jesus. I'm a husband second, a father third, and then the list goes on. Retired rapper, podcaster, founder, owner, CEO of the Laugh Dance Praise LLC, and then whatever else you want to add to it. And let's not forget that I'm also a mailman, which means I come to deliver your mail. And most importantly, I come to deliver you the good news of God. And with that being said, man, what's popping, y'all? How y'all doing? How y'all living? I hope everybody's great. I want to apologize off the rip for the late episode. Just didn't feel like recording. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Busy and didn't feel like recording. So you guys are getting it a day late, man. But I do want to say thank you to everybody that tuned in last week, man. Listen, let's get this right off the rip. There's something I got to tell you guys. Next week, I gotta fix this camera. There we go. Next week. Oh no, it's still messed up. Hold on, y'all. We're having a little difficulty with the camera here. All right. Next week, June 25th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 6 p.m. Central Time. That's 5 p.m. 5? 7, 6, 7, 6, 5, 4. 4 p.m. Pacific Time. That's Cali time. We're going to be on YouTube Live for episode 100. All right? Make sure you guys go to YouTube, run it up. Again, there will be no episode on Spotify until Thursday. But on Wednesday, June 28th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we will be on YouTube Live. Make sure you guys go run up YouTube. The Laugh Dance Praise, it's called Laugh Dance Praise LLC YouTube page, man. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys are there. I got some special guests, man. I cannot wait. And this camera's not centered. What is going on over here? There we go. That's better. My bad. For those that are watching on YouTube. Anyways, listen, man. I'm very excited for episode 100, man. This is a long time coming. We've been at this for like 2.5 years. And we're going on 3 years in November. Actually, more than 2.5, right? And we made it to episode 100. I am so excited. I'm so stoked about it. I don't know what we got going on. I don't know what these people are going to say when they get on, when my guests get on. All I know is going to be great. It's going to be live. It's our first live stream. And boy, I am excited. When I say I'm excited, I mean I'm stoked excited. We got to get some things pressed. But anyways, man, I want to say thank you to everybody that tuned in last week, man. Listen. If you haven't gotten your Laugh Dance Praise merch, what are you waiting for? Just go to www.laughdancepraise.com. We got the Crisis edition, a Crisis edition out, the hoodies and the T-shirt, and we got the In God's Temple We Workout Performance T-shirts out there now. We're gonna be adding some stuff hopefully soon. We're gonna probably be switching up a couple things after our sabbatical. Excuse me. For those that don't know, that are just tuning in, didn't listen last week. Listen, next week is our last episode. Episode 100, June 25th. After next week, we won't be back until August. We are taking a sabbatical. We are taking a vacation. You won't be seeing me on TikTok or none of that. Only for the simple fact that because our oldest is going away to college because she graduated. She's going to college in August. My duty as a parent is my first, and as a husband and as a parent, as a father, my first ministry is my family. So we spending a lot of time together in the summertime, and we need the rest, man. We need the rest. That's it. That what it comes down to. What better time to rest than in the summertime where everybody could go out. I could go spend time with my family, be at the beach, and it's kind of slow at work. Right, so with that being said, yeah, that's it. I mean, we have a goal, a financial goal. Check that out at the end of the video to help us out. If anybody wants to help us out, man, our Cash App is down below. Um, you could donate, you could contribute, you could help us out even by sharing this video or buying the merch, man. All that stuff is in the description. Let's just right to it. You see this episode 99, the last episode before 100. Woo! This is great. I'm excited. I'm really excited. And y'all see the title, Uber. Onour, why are you talking about? Shush, and you will find out why we is talking about Uber. So, I found it only right after doing 99 episodes, 98 going on 99, going to 100. I started thinking about what I started doing when I first recorded this pod. When I first started this back in November 2023, November 11th, I think it was, November the 16th. I started thinking about what did we start off with this pod? It's still the top viewing episode is I Love You, But I Cheated. And I started thinking back of what we were doing and what the purpose of this pod was going to be about, right? Stories, my life, culture, and stuff like that. We haven't hit a lot of cultural stuff. But as I was thinking about it and I was going back at the time and realizing, man, our first episode that we did for the Laugh Dance Praise podcast was I Love You, But I Cheated. And it was off of something that I heard at the Joe Budden podcast, about a song about, people loving and cheating and stuff like that. And it made me think how crazy that episode was. It's so it's crazy, right? But as I was thinking about it, I also was thinking about other things, right? Like what led me to that episode, why that episode. And I said, you know what? Let's go into a little bit of a story time. Let's go ahead and share some of the experience, right? Of what's been going on, what has happened in my life. So most of y'all don't know, I did Uber once upon a time, right? So before, I think I might have mentioned this, but I don't remember. But have y'all ever I guess leave a comment saying me if you have. How many of y'all remember, I'm going way back, way back. I'm showing my age here. How many remember HBO Taxi Cab Confessions? Y'all remember that show? For some of y'all that may be a little younger or may not know what Taxi Cab Confession is. Taxi Cab Confession was a show that would play late night at HBO. It was a TVMA, right? So it would be mainly for adults, not suited for children. And you would see these Taxi Cab Confessions where these people would confess to the taxi driver about these crazy things, and you would see people making out in the back of the taxi cab, and it was a very raunchy show. I love that show, especially as a young boy that was starting my journey to addiction to pornography, which I thank the Lord that I'm no longer addicted to. Right. So when I was thinking about this show, man, when I was doing Uber, it brought me back to these shows because I got so many Uber stories, right? And I used to tell people around me all the Uber stories, like my wife, every day, every morning when we would wake up in the morning, or when I would speak to her the next day, because I would do Uber at night, I would be like, oh my God, you have no idea what happened today. Or, excuse me, something going on with my throat. And I would tell my boys at work, yo, last night at Uber, man, I had So I wanted to come and share this with you guys because I think this is a funny story, because I think this is a good way to end season 2 and be done away with season and going into episode 100, right? Uber stories, man. Listen, back in 2000, and I think it was at the end of 2018, beginning of 2019, I was working in Darien as a mail carrier, and I decided to do Uber because one of my coworkers was doing Uber, and we needed to make a little bit of extra cash to get ourselves out of debt, and it worked. And then magically we got back into that. Don't ask me how it happened; it just did. Oh, Whew, excuse me. Man, this camera is like really not wanting to stay centered. Oh, hold up, y'all. We're having camera issues here. So unprofessional. Uh, hold up. Okay, we fixed the camera. um, I'm silly today. Sorry. Um, so so I decided, let's get back into doing let's go into doing some Uber. So I did. And I remember my first couple of rides, man. They weren't the greatest rides. They were interesting. They were man, I'm so sorry for everyone watching. Cause this camera is acting up today. So I remember when I first started doing Uber, I was very, very like nervous, right? I didn't know what I was doing. First couple of rides, they were cool, right? Whatever. Um, and I met some interesting people doing Uber, man. I've witnessed some stuff doing Uber that was like it made me think of that show Taxi Cab Confessions, right? And it's so funny, like no shots of Uber, like it was great. I stopped doing Uber because I had an animal hit me on the highway, and Uber didn't want to pay the repairs. They wanted me to repair. It would listen. I ain't even gonna get into it because I'm not trying to bash the company. It was a great company, right? So when I started doing Uber, man, I started getting more comfortable. A couple things happened while doing Uber, and I want to highlight those stories, right? And there's a purpose why I want to highlight those stories. This is not a big theological, deep, oh my God, into my feelings episode. This is a fun episode, just to let y'all know off the rip. Just be with me and share these stories with me, right? So I want to highlight some stories in Uber that has happened to me. All right. It's gonna sound crazy. It's gonna sound wild, but this is what happened to me. The first, and mind you, I did Uber for about a year and a half, right? So the first story, I guess we'll go with the lightest, right? The first Uber story that pops up, experience that pops up into my mind that will never leave my mind was I was doing Uber during the day one time, and I had to go pick up this lady in Darien, right? I picked her up in Darien. I don't remember why I was in the vicinity, but I was because I dropped somebody off in that area. So I ended up picking up somebody up in Darien, and she was a rich white lady, right? Caucasian lady, I guess rich. So I picked her up, and she had to go to. Oh no, she was from New Canaan. New Canaan. Anyway, don't matter. New Canaan, Darien, they're right next to each other. I picked her up, and she was going to the airport, the Westchester Airport, right? So I picked her up. No, it was Darien. She gets in the car, and she's very pristine, very proper, very caveat. Alfred, can you open the door for me? Oh, you're such a dear darling. Do we want to go for some tea? I don't know why tea, but anyways. So I remember picking her up, and I was like, hey, how you doing? She was like, hi. I'm like, okay. I was like, going to Westchester Airport. She was like, yep. It's cool. She's on the phone with whoever. Right? She gets on the phone. She starts talking, boom, boom. I'm following the GPS. The GPS is taking me a GPS. I don't know what the heck the GPS is doing, but it's taking me a different way, right? So I'm following the GPS, and she goes, sir, why is it taking so long? I said, ma'am, the GPS is taking me. Yeah, but this is not the way. This seems like it's longer. I was like, because there's probably traffic in the other area. Like, the GPS, the way the GPS just takes you around through the traffic. This lady was so rude. She was like, I'm going to be late for my flight. I'm like, okay. She goes, you need to hurry up. Ma'am, I can't speed. I have you in a car, and Uber tracks my speed. She goes, well, you need to hurry up and get me there because this is an emergency and I need to go. And I was running late this morning. I'm thinking in my head, like, yo, if you running late, why are you mad at me for? I ain't got nothing to do with you being late. You feel me? she was just so catty. She was just so rude, so pompous. And I was like, what in the world is up with this chick? Like I was ready to like, ma'am, like, yo, like back up short. Like, just because you got a little bit of money don't mean you could treat me the way that you treating me. Like, I'm not the one. You feel me? Um, so I end up getting to the airport. It takes me through these back roads, whatever. We end up getting to the airport. Man, this lady was so rude. But come to find out, the reason why she was so frantic, I guess because then she opened up. I said, okay. I was like, after a while, getting there, I was like, man, ma'am, I'm sorry that, it's getting to crunch time. I'm just doing. She goes, no, it's fine, it's fine. She goes, it's just I'm dealing with, and then she opened up about whatever she was dealing with her business, whatever she was frustrated, and I ended up dropping her off, and she did not leave me a tip. Um, I thought I was a good driver. I thought I was good entertainment. I thought I was a good host. But apparently she thought differently, and she didn't leave me a tip. Um, but she got out the car. I was like, all right, man. Like back then, like we couldn't in Uber, like you couldn't drive in Connecticut, and then if you had a stop in New York, you had to come back to Connecticut to pick up another share because Connecticut drivers can't do New York, can't Uber in New York. So I dropped her off at the airport, and I get back home. I'm like, yo, I'm done for the day. I look in the back seat. This lady left her glasses in my car. Nice, expensive pair of sunglasses. I try to reach out to let her know. I never got a response. So thank you for the expensive glasses. I appreciate it very much. They're feminine sunglasses, but I appreciate it very much. That's one Uber story. I know it's not the greatest. I know y'all waiting for the juicy stuff, right? All right, bet. So let's go. Let's go right to the juicy stuff. So there was one time when I was doing Uber. It was homecoming weekend for the college here in my town, right? And I was like, ooh, homecoming weekend. I was like, it's about to be lit. Because I used to do Uber Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, right? Start around like 8 o'clock, end around like 2, or start around 9, and around 2, right? Depending, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. And I remember that the college students told me the night before, like, hey, man, tomorrow's college homecoming weekend. Da, da, da. I was like, bet, I'm going to make some cash because from the college to the bar was like a 5-minute ride, and it was like $5, but I would do 10 of those back to back to back to back to back, right? I said, bet, college homecoming weekend, these college students about to be drunk. We about to get lit. We about to make some money. First ride in. First, I'll never forget this. First ride in. I have to go to Brookfield, Connecticut. About 20 minutes from my house. I get to like the location. I pull up to the scene. Boy, let me tell you, there were mad cars on the side of the road. On two, and it looked like parents. So as I pull up closer, there's a crowd of people, kids, just in the distance. I'm like, what is going on over here? Like when I say there's a cloud, like there's a crowd of kids. And these kids are there, and I'm like, okay, let's see what's up. Like I pull up, I roll down my window. There's a whole bunch of kids coming. I was like, yo. And there's this dude. I'll never forget this. There was this kid, this Caucasian teenager, on the floor with his shirt off, sitting on the floor, leaning his back towards the wheels of a car, and just throwing up. I'm like, what in the? I was like, I hope that's not the dude I gotta pick up. I roll down the window. I see like an angry parent on the side just staring at me, and I'm like, what? Like, I'm just like picking up somebody. Like, what? One of the kids comes out and he goes, yo. I roll down the window. I said, yo. He's like, yo, what are you looking for? I said, yo, it's an Uber driver. I was like, I'm looking for, I forgot what the person's name is. Let's just put a name, Jack. looking for Jack. He's like, oh, yo, Jack. He's yelling, yo, Jack, your Uber's here. Yo, Jack, your Uber's here. So I see Jack coming. His is two white boys, two Caucasian kids, an African American kid, and a white and a Caucasian girl, right? And I'm like, okay, they all coming into the ride. I said, bet. They hop in. These kids were underage. When I say underage, they had to be like 17. I don't even think 18, maybe 16, 17. I'm like, okay. They hop in. Dude in the front, shorty in the back with the other two, right? So my first ride, I pull up, boom, boom, boom. I was like, yo, y'all good? They're like, yeah, like, yo, y'all, anything y'all want to listen to in specifics, da, 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 da. Oh, no. I said, cool. I was like, great. He said, and they just start talking, oh, my God, da, da, da. And I'm just quiet, right? Because I'm just peeping, seeing. So we're going, and we're like from where I picked them up to their house was about like 20 minutes. No, 15 minutes. So the dude in the front that ordered the Uber, he said, yo, can you do me a favor? Can you drop them off first? They're right by my house, and then drop me off. I said, that's going to cost you extra, my guy. Like, it's going to run you. Like, you know, the longer I keep the fare, he's like, yeah, that's fine, whatever, right? So we're like 5 minutes in. We're going down this windy road. And all of a sudden, oh, boy. All of a sudden, all I hear is, blah, blah. I'm driving. I'm like, yo, did Shorty just throw up? I look at the dude to the side. I literally asked her, yo, did she just throw up in the car? And they're like, yes. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. The dude in the front's like, dude, what the heck? I'm like, yo, I'll pull over. Right? I get to us because we're still on the winding road, so I get like further down, and then I'll pull over. And I'm pissed. I am tight like a feather. I'm like, yo, she really threw up? And the dude goes, oh my God, I'm so sorry, young kid. He goes, dude, get her out the car. The girl gets out the car. He gets out right after her. She's still puking outside of the car. Shorty like 16, 17 years old. I got a car that has puke in it. I am so livid at this point. It's my first ride. I got to deal with puke. This ends my ride. That's it. I can't pick up nobody else. I'm tight. I just lost money. So I look at the dude. I'm like, yo, can you check on her? So in my mind, the African American kid, right? The black kid's behind me, right? Young cat. I'm sitting there thinking, what do I have in the trunk? Do I have paper towels? Do I have baby wipes? Because my kids were still small. Like I got kids, so I always keep like baby wipes, paper towels. You never know, because my kids have thrown up in the car before. Kids get, whatever. I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, I'm like, what do I have in the trunk? Yo, I pop the trunk and I get out. I kid you not. This story, this will be one of the epic stories ever in my lifetime doing Uber. So I get out, I pop the trunk. The African American kid in front, right, that's behind me. I pop the trunk and I'm looking for stuff. I'm looking through the crack of the trunk in the rearview mirror, and I see him looking back, and he is terrified. Yo, this kid got so scared. He was scared. I was pissed. He was scared. I grabbed some paper towels. I grabbed some baby wipes that I found in the bag. I closed the trunk, and I went over to do it. I said, yo, here. I said, give her this. Tell me why when I go over and I give the dude the paper towels, tell me why this girl, butt naked, stripped all the way down to her bra and thong. I'm like, yo, here, I close my eyes. I was like, yo, here, can you please tell her to put some clothes on? Yo, she stripped, literally stripped. I was just like, yo, this is a young girl. What in the world? If cops pull up, I what? Like, no, what is going on here? This is crazy. So she ends up getting dressed. They get back in the car, and yo, I'm tight. And the dude goes, yo, man, like, I'm so sorry. I said, I'm gonna have to report this to Uber. He's like, oh, no, don't do that. I said, well, you're gonna have to pay me. Like I'm gonna have to report. He's like, I'm so sorry. He was so pissed at it's like, dude, what the frick? And I'm like, I drop off, dude. I was like, can you? I said, listen, man. I said, I ain't dropping nobody else off. I'm dropping you off at your crib. You guys got to figure it out afterwards. I was like, because I ain't doing this. Like, y'all just ended my night. So I dropped the kid off. Man, I felt so bad for the kid in the back and the passenger. The hell with the other dude and his girlfriend. Because they were just being jerks right after that. Like, even before they were being jerks. I felt so bad. The kid in the front, he's like, here, man. He's like, no, it's not much, but, here, take this to clean your car. To give me like $5. I'm looking at him like, the hell is $5 going to do to clean up a car that's full of puke? I said, man, I took the $5. I ended the ride. I called Uber. I had to take pictures of the car. Uber paid me about like $150 for that to clean the car and everything. But nonetheless, I could have made more money that night. That was a night that I'll never forget. Oh, my Lord. I was so I think I still got the pictures of the pukey mats, but I ain't going to put that up. I was so tight, man. So tight. So that was one ride that sticks out to me the most on my highlights on Uber. Like I said, man, this is just a fun episode. I mean, if y'all want to just X out, whatever, right? There was another incident that happened. I remember going to a street, and I went to go pick up the street, like a couple of towns from my house, from my town. And I went deep into the woods. When I say the woods, I mean like the woods. Like, this street was like dark, no street lights, nothing. I'm like, I found a house because of the mailbox. I'm like, where the freak? And I'm looking around. There's nothing but woods on my left side. There's like bushes on the right. There's like the houses, you can barely see them. I'm like, yo, what in the world? Yo, it was so dark in this area. It was so dark that not even the stars were illuminate. Not even the moon. The moon was hidden in the darkness. That's how dark this location was. I'm like, I wasn't a pistol permit carrier at that moment. Even if I was, you can't really, drive around with a pistol while you're doing Uber. That's just part of the rules. But I always kept a knife with me. Man, I locked the doors. I was so listen. I ain't gonna hold you. I was a little scared. Being in the dark. I'm not in the dark, but being in a wooded area, picking up somebody and you don't even know. I'm looking around. I'm looking at all the mirrors to make sure if I see anybody coming up. Nothing. I locked the doors. Got my knife out just in case. I'm from the hood. Dudes have been run up on before, and Jack, you ain't gonna get me, son. Two in the jugular, one in the rib. you get shanked up. And the white dude comes up out of nowhere, knocks on the door. I was like, oh shoot. I said, what up? Gets in. I was like, yo, your name is? Yeah. I said, cool. Yo, coolest dude ever, man. Backpack dude, like old school, like hip hop backpack skater dude. We just had I dropped him off like maybe like 20 minutes down the street, and man, that was such a cool conversation. We spoke about everything, music. This is when I really wasn't walking with the Lord at this moment. I was like dabbling in a little bit. And man, like we were just talking about hip hop. It was a really cool conversation. Cool dude, man. We was talking about like he was talking about like, yo, he's like, yeah, he's like, I didn't think you was gonna stay like this. He's like, I know this area looks mad sketch, and then you see me looking like a redneck, and I was like, yo, we were just cracking up. Great ride. So, so that's a memorable ride for me in Uber. I remember one. There's a couple. I'm trying to figure out which one I want to leave for last. Okay. So I remember one. Yo, when I tell you, rich, white, college kids, or rich, white men, I guess you could say men, from like the ages of like 21 to like 27, them boys, they get rowdy and they're rude like a mug. Don't get me wrong, Latinos are rude and they're a bunch of a-holes too. And African Americans, they could be rude and a-holes too. Asians, everybody, when they're drunk, they could be a-holes. But rich white dudes, they're at a different caliber. And listen, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. So I pick up this couple. No, I pick up this chick. And she's in I pick up this chick in the town and she's going to her boyfriend's house that's about like an hour away, right? She's going from New Fairfield all the way to Darien. So I'm familiar with Darien. I said, I bet, I'll keep it on, whatever. I know the streets, I work there, whatever. I pick up Shorty. Very, very beautiful young lady. Like when I say she's beautiful, she was stunning. Very cool personality. She was like Puerto Rican and Native American. Cool chick. The whole, she's talking to her boyfriend, whatever, arguing, whatever, right? Then she starts talking to me. And then she starts asking me about relationship. She's like, oh, yeah. I was like, oh, where you headed to? She was like, oh, I'm going to my boyfriend's house, yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. We got to pick him up at the bar. He's the one that ordered the Uber, but he's being an a-hole right now. And she was telling me her life story. And I'm like, yo, this dude don't care for you, dog. In my mind, I'm like, yo, this, I was about to say something else. I was like, yo, this cat don't care about you. You just a dime piece for him. That's all you are. But then at the same time, I'm listening to her talk. I was like, you only with this dude because he got money. Like, she's telling me what he's going to school for, how his parents got money and so on and so forth. I'm like, but yo, he's treating her like garbage. She was like he's an a-hole, da-da-da-da. He was being rude, da-da-da. So he ends up calling her. He's like, yo, where you at? She was like, yo, I'm with the Uber guy. I guess he got jealous that she said the Uber guy. He was like, oh, she was like, babe, stop. No, he's a cool dude. He's respectful. We'll be right there. Blah, 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 blah. You're drunk. You're being an a-hole. Blah, 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 blah. Pull up. Dude gets in the car. What's up, my man? What up, man? Where y'all going? Yeah. So, okay, boom. So now they're arguing in the back seat. They're just like, kind of bickering. And they end up getting out. And she was like, and he gets out. He's like, come on, let's go. She goes, all right, dang. She goes, let me say bye. She goes like, hey, it was nice meeting you. Thank you so much. You're such a great listener. Bye. I'm like, okay, you are very flirtatious. You don't really like your man. You saw you saw a dude with melanin skin, and you found me attractive. Get the heck out the car. I know I'm full of myself. I said, yo, get the heck out the car. All right. I didn't tell her to get the heck. In my mind, I was like, boom. So that's not the part that I'm going. I just want to set the scene. I get boop, 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 boop. Oh, I got to pick up somebody in Darien. Cool, right down the street. Bet. I just came from that area. I go down to the area. And I pull up. And there's a whole bunch of college kids. And I roll down the window, and one of them comes in. And it's like 5 of them. And they fit in the car. They're like, Uber? I said, yeah. I was like, your name is, I don't remember for the sake of the story, let's call him Chad. I was like, you guys, I was like, Chad? Anybody in here? Yeah, Chad. I said, bet. He's like, hey, man. He's like, listen, I'm going to have you drop this person off here and there. I'll pay you the extra or whatever. I said, cool. No problem. Where you headed to? So I'm going around, and the GPS is telling me to turn around. And I'm like, this is nowhere near where where the location is. Like, we're going way out. So I'm going around, and then I see a message go into my Uber app, and it say, hey, I'm here waiting for you. I think you picked up the wrong people. Mind you, I just asked all these white drunk dudes, is your name Chad? any of y'all Chad? And they all were like, yeah. One of them was like, yeah, my name is Chad. So I turn around, whoop, whoop. I said, yo, because now they're being obnoxious. I said, yo, now I got to put like my hood voice on, my little firm voice. I said, yo, I think I got the wrong people in the car. The one dude says, no, excuse my language. He said, no, wait, who the, wait, who are you talking to? Who wait, who are you talking to? Wait, hold up, dog. I know you ain't talking about me. Like he knows. I said, yo, excuse me? I said, ain't none of y'all chatting here. No. And he called me an a-hole again. I'm like, all right, dog. Like, I'm about to snuff this dude the F out, bro. I'm ready to, I'm like, oh, I said, yo, I pull back up. I pull out. I said, yo, y'all need to get out. They're like, whatever, dude, and blah, blah, blah. And then they slammed the door of my car. Oh, my Lord. When they slammed the main dude, that was in the front, when he slammed the door to my car, I was ready to turn up. I parked the car. I was ready. I took off my seatbelt and I was like, it's like 5 of them is me. I'm about to get jumped to Darien by a bunch of drunk white dudes. Bro, the dude that I was supposed to pick up came in the car and I was like, yo, I am so sorry. He goes, nope. He goes, don't even worry about it. It's not even your fault. He goes, those dudes around. And then I saw them dudes actually start arguing with somebody. He almost got into a fight with somebody on the street. I'm like, bro, like, what? I was like, yo, this dude called me an a-hole, yada, yada, yada. Again, I am sorry for the cuss word. My bad. Right? And, yeah, man, like, I was like, never again am I picking up people in Darien. Never again. It's too, like, yo, like, why is it? And I know it's not everybody. I know it's not everybody in this situation, but why is it that a lot of rich people are freaking snobby and rude? Like, y'all entitled. Like, humble yourself. Like, man, your money don't make you a good person. It don't make you better than me. Get out of my face with that. That was another memorable moment where I almost went into fisticuffs. I remember. All right, so I got 3 more, maybe 4, but 3 that are very memorable to me. So I'll go on with this one, and then I'll leave with the last 2, and then we're out of here. I remember. I went to pick up these kids. Well, not kids. These young adults. They were like in their 20s, right? And I picked them up like in a place where like there's no service. So Shorty sits in the front, and there's 2 dudes in the back. Oh, wait, I'll tell you another story about after this one. Yes, it was gonna be 3, 4. I remember picking up these. There was 3 of them. 2 girls, 1 dude. One of the girls gets in the front, and she's a sweetheart. Whatever. The 2 in the back start talking. And the guy and the girl start arguing in the back. Well, I got a couple more stories. The guy and the girl start arguing in the back. And the only thing I hear is the dude say, well, why don't you tell him? And she was like, no. He was like, I'll tell him because I think he's cute. I was like, what the hell? What? Wait. What? They were arguing about who's going to tell me that I'm cute. The dude and the girl. I was like, oh, hell no. Boy, listen. Listen. I was like, so the dude goes, hey, so how's your night going? I was like, it's straight, you know? Yeah, I think y'all gonna be my last ride. Oh, okay, that's good. Like, that's good. Like, we saw your profile and you're you seem pretty cool. I was like, yo, you guys want to listen to any music? I cut it quick. Oh yeah, can we listen to and whatever. It was just then I dropped. They were cool though. They were really cool. Like we were just chit chatting. All three of us we were chit chatting, laughing, um, just having a great time. I would have fun with my Uber riders, man. I would just pick up conversations. Sometimes they would be serious. Sometimes they wouldn't. There was this one time I picked up a kid from a bar. I picked up this one dude from the bar, and he gets in the front seat, and we're riding, and I see him go like making that motion. I said, "Oh no, hell no! I ain't gonna have somebody throw up in my car again." I said, "Yo, my man." He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Yo, he was trash." When I say he was trash, he was trash. I said, "Yo, my man." I said, if you gotta throw up, dog, let me know and I'll pull over. I don't want you throwing up in my car because it's gonna cost you an arm and a leg." I said, no, I'm good. 2 minutes into the ride. No, 5 minutes. He goes, "Yo, my man." He's like, "Can you pull over?" I said, "Sure." Yo, he opens, I pull over. I'm so thankful he pulled over. He opened the door, mind you, he was in the front. Because they asked me, "Can I sit in the front?" Sure, no problem. He's in the front. He opens the door, goes to the side of the street, takes off his shirt, and just blah, starts puking, just blah, 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 blah. Like Count Dracula, like Drac from Transylvania, blah, blah, blah. Right? Yo, Onour, why are you telling us this story about this? Because watch, it gets funny. I'm sitting there looking at dude, I'm like, bro, like, this is not really, this is really happening. This is really happening. Like, dude is throwing up. Like, I am so thankful he told me he was throwing up. He had to throw up. So he throws up. I said, "Yo, my man, you good? Like, you want a bottle of water? You straight?" Because I always used to carry water, right? Cold water. Anybody wants water. It's the summertime here. Take some water, some gum. I said, "Yo, you good?" He's like, yeah, I'm good. Tell me why the dude gets in the back seat. He sits in the back seat, opens the back door, sits in the back seat. Mind you, front door's completely wide open. I'm puzzled. I'm like, wait, what the heck is going on here? I was like, wait a minute. I look back. I'm like, "Hey, yo, dog." I said, I ain't say dog. I said, "Hey, man." I was like, "You want to close the door in the front?" He goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "You left the front door open. Like, you left the front door open, the passenger door open." He goes, "There wasn't nobody with me, bro." He's like, "I'm waiting." I said, "Nah, man, it's only you." He's like, "Oh, I'm really that drunk." I was like, "Oh God." He's like, "I'm sorry, dude." I said, no, just stay there. I'll get. He's like, no, I'll come back to the front, man. I thought it was somebody else. I said, "Yo, this dude is really that trash. He didn't know." It was just him. I was like, "Wait, what is going on here? Like, this is crazy. Like, this is nuts. I cannot believe this is really happening to me. Like, it's crazy." So I ended up dropping him off, and cool dude, because he was drunk. He was just passed out. He was just slouched over. I'm like, yo, like, what the freak? I've had people sleep because they're so passed out, sleep in the front seat, and I'm tapping up. "Hey, yo, my man. Hey, yo, my man. Hey, yo, my man, wake up." I had a girl pass out in the front. So men is different. I could tap a dude when he's drunk and be like, "Yo, my man. And a girl is complete. You gotta be careful with women, man. Like, there was this one chick that passed out, and I was like, "Oh man, like, she's passed out. Like, how do I wake her without startling her? She's passed out drunk." Um, Excuse me, ma'am. I can't touch her, right? I mean, I can tap her, but is she drunk? I don't want that on me. "Excuse me." You're here. Sorry, you were like passed out. I didn't want to tap you and startle you. um, um, there was that dude. Um, there was this one is crazy. You know what? I'm gonna leave that one for last because that one is really crazy. I remember there was one time I picked up these there were like 4 or 5 women, older women. They were like they had to be like late 40s, between late 40s and early 60s. Beautiful women, rich. They get in a car and they couple locations. I gotta drop them off. Boom, boom, boom. That's how they put it in the Uber. 1, 2, 3, right? And they were like, "Hey," they get in the car, whatever, whatever. The lady in the front, I was like, "Hey," I was like, "Hey, ladies," I was like, "How y'all doing?" They're like, "Oh, we're fine. How are you?" It's Oscar, right? I said, "Yes, ma'am." Like, "Oh, sorry, but we got to drop off a couple people." I said, "No, it's fine." I was like, "You guys having ladies' night out?" They're like, "Yeah." Good lady in the front, she goes, "Yeah, we're celebrating my divorce." I said, "Oh, sorry to hear that." She was like, "No," she goes, "My husband was a jerk. I'm so happy." I said, "Oh, cool, cool, cool," right? So I started dropping people off, and they're just chit chatting and trying, picking conversation with each other, and then picking conversation with me, whatever, whatever. And the lady in the front and the lady in the back, they were going to go to the same house, right? The divorce lady. And if I'm going to be completely honest, she was gorgeous. All these women and they're older, they were gorgeous. Like, I don't know, but they were gorgeous. And so I'm dropping them off, whatever, whatever, and we're going to the last one. And the divorce lady goes, "Hey," she goes, "How old are you?" True story. She goes, "How old are you?" I was like, "Oh, I think I was like 30 something. I forgot how old I was. 2020, we're in 25. It's like 38, 37. She was like, "Oh my gosh." She goes, "Yeah." She goes, "I just got divorced from my husband after so many years. He was a jerk. It was better off that we got divorced." Excuse me. She was like, "It was better off that we got divorced." Da, 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 da. I said, "Cool." She was like, she goes, she goes, "Are you married?" I said, "I am." I said, "I'm married. I got 2 beautiful daughters." She was like, "Oh my God, that's so great." She goes, "I'm looking for a young man." I said, "Okay." Help. "I just want to, have some fun tonight with a young man." I said, "Oh, okay." Well, hopefully you found one. She goes, "No." She goes, "But she goes, you're cute. Uh, Thank you. Uh, Let me step on the gas." This just got really uncomfortable. Yo, this lady was really hitting on me. This old divorced lady, she was like 56. Really talking about she wanted a young man, how she never had, like, she's only been with one man for most of her life, and yada, yada, yada. And she's exploring. And I'm like, okay. Drop her and her friend off. Her friend's like, "I am so sorry." I said, "No, no, you good. Get the F out the car. Just leave." Right? Now, right? That was one incident of me getting hit on. Let me tell you, some of these older ladies, and no disrespect to women, but women say that men all men are pigs. Let me tell y'all, that is not true. Women are just as bad. And I know some of y'all ladies are gonna be like, "No, we're not. We're cat." No, bull crap. Because I've been in Uber with a lot of women, and the stories that I've heard, I literally heard some college girls talk about the size of the penis of a guy. "Oh, he's too small," and well, he's this. I'm like, what? And I've heard older ladies talk about, mature women talk about their sex life in the Uber. Like, I'm telling you, when I talk about that taxi cab confession show, my Uber, what I did with Uber, it reminded me of these things. Hearing these crazy, I was shocked that some of these women are freaking hornballs. Like, I ain't gonna hold you. And it seems like there's a gap between like the young 20-year-olds to like the older 50 years old. Like between 50 and 60 and 20 to 30, those two age gaps, those ladies are like horny and freaks. Like, that's what I've experienced doing Uber for a year and a half. And I'm like, half of the stuff that came out these women's mouth, I'm like, what in the world? The dudes we wouldn't even talk about now. We talk about music and games and whatever. But these women would have conversation with between each other about having doing sexual activities with their partners or with somebody or looking for somebody to do something frisky with. I'm like, what in the freaking world? Like, bro, I was shocked. I was like, there's no way. No way. I thought it was only a group of girls that I knew that were like growing up that were, usually those are the ones that I'm not going to say what I was going to say. Never mind. I already said enough to get me in trouble in this episode. But I was like, yo. So I'm not going to lie to y'all. With all these interactions, I was faithful to my wife. And my mind wandered. The temptation was there. Like, temptation was there like a mug. Don't get me wrong. I love B Rizzle. And our marriage was getting better. Right? But when women basically pretty much throw themselves at you, to me, my old self, I'm not this way anymore. But like back then, I would think in my mind, I was like, man, if I wasn't married, ooh, child, ooh, child. So let me tell you this one story, and then I got one more, and then I got scripture. There's this one lady. No, I went to pick up these college girls, 21, 22, maybe 23. These two white, these two Caucasian girls, right? Went and picked them up at the bar. Beautiful, beautiful ladies. Young ladies. They get in the car, and I'll never forget it because it was like 2 days before my birthday. And I picked them up, and they get in the car, both of them. Both of them are drunk, but one is a little bit more tipsier than the other one. And the one that's super tipsy, she was like, hey. I was like, hey, ladies, how y'all doing? I greet everybody the same. Hey, ladies, how you doing? What's up, guys? What's up? Hey, ladies, how y'all doing? Like, good, okay, cool. Any particular music you guys want to listen to? Anything specific? Let me know. No, we're fine, blah, blah, blah. Okay, they start chit-chatting. Boom, I got music playing, a little low, whatever. So I want to be attentive to what they're saying, right? Not even a minute in. One of the chick goes, hey, your name is Oscar, right? I said, yes, ma'am. I was like, yep. She goes, oh, okay. She goes, Oscar, are you single? I said, I'm not. She goes, are you married? I said, I am. She goes, you have kids? I said, yeah, I got 2 daughters, 2 beautiful daughters. One's in whatever grade and the other one's whatever. She was like, oh my God, that's so cute. She goes, when's your birthday, Oscar? I was like, well, I'm in June. Actually, in a couple of days. She goes, oh my God, happy early birthday. I said, thank you so much. She goes, oh, you're a Gemini? I said, yeah, back then, whatever. She goes, can I tell you something? So what? She goes, you're cute. I said, thank you. She was like, no, like, you're really, really cute. Her friend's like, shut the fuck up. She goes, I am so sorry. She goes, don't tell me to shut the F up. She goes, he's cute. I said, cool. She goes, do you drink, Oscar? I said, no. I said, I don't. I haven't drank in a while. No, I said, I don't really drink like that no more. She was like, oh, okay. She goes, do you smoke weed? I said, no, I stopped smoking a while ago. I said, I stopped smoking a while ago, right? She was like, oh, she goes, so what did you like to drink? She goes, what is your favorite drink? I said, oh, tequila. I was like, I used to be a Henny guy. I was like, but I switched over to tequila, and I love all types of tequila. I'm a tequila person. She goes, oh my God. She goes like, yeah, I don't really like tequila that much. She goes, but it's cool. I like to drink, blah, 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 blah. I said, cool, cool, cool. Now she starts talking to her friends try to defer. Like her friend, I think her friend thought that I was like being flirtatious, but I wasn't. I was just answering Shorty's question. I didn't even ask her the question. She asked, I answered, right? And that's it. Whenever she stopped asking, I'd stop talking. So we pull up to the house. We pull up to the house. And she goes, I was like, well, here you guys are. I was like, you ladies have a good night. She goes, hey, Oscar. She goes, I have Jose Cuervo. I have 1800. I have Don Julio. I have all these tequilas upstairs in the bar. Do you want to come in and see them? I said, no, thank you. I'm okay. Thank you very much. She goes, you sure? I said, I'm positive. She goes, what are you doing after this? I was like, this is my last ride, actually. I was like, I'm going home for the night. She goes, do you want to come upstairs? I said, no, thank you. I'm okay. It's cool. Like, we're cool. She goes, you sure? I said, yeah. I said, I'm positive. She goes, I promise you, Oscar, that if you come upstairs, I'll give you a night to remember. A night that you won't forget. She goes, I promise you, you come upstairs. She goes, I'll make you forget your wife. I looked at her. I turned around. I looked at her. I said, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. I was like, you could get out now, please. She was like, you sure? She goes, I'll do things. I said, you could have a good night. have a good night. Bro, what? I just told you I was married. Told you I don't drink like that. You want to bring me upstairs, roofie me, and freaking use me as a sex slave? You horny, drunk lady? Get out of here. I'm married. Trying to ruin my marriage. Man, I felt like Joseph. I ran away, but I kept my clothes on. Like, yo, what? You literally sat there and you told me to come upstairs so you could give me a night to remember that you'll make me forget my wife. Is you nuts? Do you know who Big Rizzo is? She's half white, half Puerto Rican, girl. You don't want that Puerto Rican side to come out. I'm a married man. I just went through something in my marriage. You think I'm gonna risk it with you? Man, listen. Get out my car, Jezebel. Man, like it's countless how many times I've been hit on in Uber. Countless of times I've been offered sex while doing Uber. I've been offered drugs too. I've been offered weed. Those stories, man. Listen, I've been offered a lot doing Uber. Uber is a very interesting thing, and for somebody like me, well, somebody that not like me now. So let me take that back. For the way that I used to be when I was younger, I would hop on those opportunities in a heartbeat. As I got older and matured and almost lost my marriage because of my own stupidity, at that moment in life, it was too written. No. I learned my lesson and get out of here. But I know people that have taken offers like that in Uber. I know a couple people that have done Uber and women have offered them sexual favors and they taken them, right? Married or not married. They've just, I bet, whatever. I never been that type of person. So, I should have left with that one, but I got one more. I wanted to cuss this lady out. I think it's the first time I left like a 1-star review on a rider and complained and wrote a long dissertation. So I remember picking up this couple. She was drunk. For the sake of the story, Caucasian woman, late 40s, picked up her and her husband or boyfriend. Yeah, her and her husband. And in a rich town, picked them up and brought them. I had some reggaeton playing. She's arguing with her husband. She's completely trash. She goes, ooh, mind you, walks in the car. Oscar, yep. How you guys doing? You guys want water? Anything you guys want to, anything specific you guys want to listen to? No. Play whatever you want. Cool. Got the music low enough, not high enough. Boom. I'm in my zone. It's late night, bringing these people home. I got some reggaeton playing. And the lady goes, hey, Ali Akbar. Wait. What the what did she hold up. Did this fool just call me Ali Akbar? Like, wait a minute. Like, is this really happening? This is really happening. I said, excuse me? She goes, what is that you're playing? Indian music? I said, no, that's reggaeton. It's Latino music, Latin music. She goes, oh, but your name is Ali Akbar, right? Ma'am, no, it's not. It's Oscar. Same different. No. Her husband's like, yo, can you shut the F up? She was like, no, you're always telling me what to do. And they start bickering. He goes, yo, he's like, you're freaking being embarrassing. Shut the F up. You're effing drunk. Stop. You're being obnoxious. She goes, I'm not being obnoxious. He's like, dude, he's like, sir, he's like, I am so sorry. I said, no, it's cool. It's cool. She goes, so let me ask you. Ahmed, not Ali Akbar, Ahmed. Sorry. She goes, let me ask you, Ahmed. It's Oscar, but sure, ask away. Slave owner from 1922. I didn't realize we were still in a plantain. She goes, let me ask you something, Ahmed. I said, oh, okay. What's up? I said, sure. She goes, so, she goes, are you Muslim? I said, I am not. She goes, are you Catholic? I said, no, I'm Christian. She goes, oh. She goes, you sure? Because I think you're Muslim. She goes, and I think that your people just are, have this religion that just suppresses women. I'm like, what in the frick? In my head, I'm like, what the F is going on right now? Like, is this lady really serious right now? She really, like, I just told you I'm a Christian, man. What the, like, what? She was so rude. She was like, so you get down and pray temple to the east and the west? I'm like, yo, what the, I got so tight. I was ready to leave him in the middle of the road. I get to the house, drop off. She goes like, well, she goes, I was like, yo, you guys are here. I was like, thank you for your ride. She was like, yeah, she goes, just don't go blow anything up. You mother, woo, child. My beard was longer, but bro, what? You racist? Bro, what? Her husband's like, what the is your problem? He's like, sir, I am so sorry. I said, nope, you good. You guys have a good night. Have a nice night. Yo, I wanted to run. If I'm going to be honest, man, I wanted to run that lady over. I wanted to. Whew, boy, listen. Listen, I've had some great rides on Uber. I've had some fun people. I've had some funny people. I've had people buy me food. I've had people like tip me really well. I've had people, I made connection with somebody in the music industry, so we spoke. Like, I've had some great experiences with Uber. So shout out to Uber. I enjoyed those. Were some great moments. I wouldn't be able to tell these stories, these crazy stories. People are crazy. If it wasn't for Uber, I'm not talking trash about the company. But that last one, that lady had me so like, I had to go home. I felt so insulted. I was like, what the freak did I just witness racism in Connecticut? Like at a different, like, that's drunken mind speak sober words. This is how this lady really felt. My buddy Alex used to say, drunken mind speaks sober words. This is how she really felt. All these people that I picked up while they were drunk and the nonsense that they would say, like the girl hitting me, offering me sex to go upstairs to her house. This is how you really were horny that night. You wanted to get the pipe. It just wasn't going to be me. Like the drunk dudes calling me an A. This is how y'all feel entitled. This is how y'all feel. Y'all wanted to fight. Like the girl that's talking about her boyfriend being an a-hole and telling her this is how people really feel when a drunken mind speaks sober words. Right? And it's crazy because it's like, bro, like, what? That last one had me like, Akbar? Like, ma'am, I'm playing Spanish music. And you are insulting me as a Latino. Not insulting me, but you are disrespecting me as a Latino man by the name of Oscar. You gonna call me Ali Akbar? Ahmed? Bro, I told you I'm Christian and you gonna tell me that I'm Muslim. Wait, what? What is going on? I say that to say this, man. Be careful. I just wanted to share these stories, man. Like, I was just thinking, I was thinking about doing something else for this episode. I was thinking about talking about how I hate money. But I was just thinking about this episode. I was like, yo, what are we going to talk about? I had a couple topics I wanted to talk about. I was like, you know what? Let's go with Uber. Son just came up with Uber, like, and the temptations that came through Uber and the passes that came at me. And I look at life now where I'm at 42 and I've been hit on, right? And my daughters would tell you that there are women that are very flirtatious with me, and I don't even bat to look the other way. There's a Proverbs that I love so much that reminds me of my wife. Actually is the one, and we'll get into, we will talk when we come back. I will have a special guest. We will talk about pornography because it is a high. It's really high right now. The rampage and how easy and accessible pornography is, and I think that's something that we need to speak about because it's not only for men, it's for women too, right? It's on a rise. I'll bring stats and all that next time, not next week, but when we come back from our sabbatical. But one thing that made me stop being addicted to pornography, if I'm going to be completely honest, because if I'm going to be completely honest, man, after all those passes, right, and all those offers, right, your boy is grateful for the offers. It made me, it flattered. I don't care what anybody said. It did flatter me. I was like, woo, I'm having a good night. I look fine. Yeah. But one thing that it led me was the thoughts would stay in my brain. And that would lead me to pornography, right? That would lead me to porn, right? Middle of the night, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, my wife's sleeping. And that would lead me to, not every time, but it would lead me there because the thoughts would be there. And thoughts are very intrusive. And I know this is a little more serious, but this is something that happens that I know there's a lot of men and women that struggle with these things, right? But for especially married men, right? This is a rise, right? In married men. And I want to offer you a scripture that helped me consider my wife when it came to porn, right? And then I'll give you some other scripture. But this is one of my favorite scripture that really helped me stop pornography, and it's Proverbs chapter 5. I'm going to start off at verse 15. It says, drink water. By the way, this is my Tree of Life Bible. This is the TLV version that we're reading off of. And it says, Proverbs chapter 5, verse 15, it says, drink water from your own cistern and running water from your own well. Should your springs flow in the streets, your streams of water in public squares. Let them be yours alone and not share with strangers. May your fountain be blessed, and may you delight in the wife of your youth. A lovely hind, a graceful doe. May her breast satisfy you always. May you always be captivated by her love. Why, my son, be captivated by a seducing woman? Why embrace a foreign bosom? That scripture changed my life when it came to porn, because it reminded me, like, yo, I've been with my wife since high school, right? We broke up 3 times, whatever, right? I did what I did. But she's my boo. That's my wife of my youth. I got to be satisfied with her alone. You feel me? But I want to read you this, also from the TLV. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 18. Right? Matter of fact, let's read verse 18 to 19, right? Go read the whole chapter. I always tell you, go read the whole chapter for context, right? But for the sake of time, we're going to read 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 18. It says, flee from sexual morality. Every other sin that a man commits is outside the body, but the one committing sexual immorality sins against his own body. Or don't you know that your body is a temple of the Ruach HaKodesh, who is in you, whom you have from God, and that you are not your own? For you were bought with a price. Therefore, glorify God in your body. I know temptation will come. I know these things, some women will go ahead and try to throw you a pass and be like, hey, boy, don't do it. Run away from her. Solomon tells us to stay away from the promiscuous women because she's out there calling in the streets. She ain't going to be faithful to you. I heard Tim Ross said on a podcast earlier this week, I heard him say something that his uncle said. His uncle said, you think I'm going to jeopardize my wife for a teaspoon of semen? Think about that one. 2 Timothy chapter 2, right? Where we at? Boom, 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 boom. Chapter 2, verse 22, it says, now flee from youthful desires. Instead, pursue righteousness, faithfulness, love, and shalom, meaning peace, with those who call on the Lord from a pure heart, but avoid foolish and ignorant disputes, knowing that they produce quarrels. The Lord's slave must not be quarrelsome, but be kind to all, able to teach, tolerant. Let him give guidance with humility to those who are in oppositions. Perhaps God may grant them a change of mind, leading to the knowledge of truth. Then they may regain their senses and escape the devil's snare in which they had been held captive by him to do his will. Why do I bring that one? Because sometimes our youthful desires will lead us back into doing stupid things, right? Like that lady, right? My youthful desires was to cuss that lady the heck out that called me Akbar, right? My youthful desires was to cuss the lady out that was rude to me because the GPS took me a different way because there was mad traffic, right? Like, I wanted to cuss that lady out so bad. My youthful desires would have been to go and take the offer to go upstairs and sleep with Shorty, right? My youthful desires were, to snuffing the white boys out that called me an a-hole, right? My youthful desires were to take the weed bag, were to take the alcohol, my youthful desires were all these things that would entice me to do certain things, right? But here we see that Paul's telling Timothy, flee from that, but pursue righteousness, pursue love, pursue peace, right? Because when we do this, we overcome all these temptations, and we overcome, as believers, we overcome what the world wants us to deem as normal. Now, I want to read you Jacob, which is in English is translated to James chapter 4, verse 7, right? And it says, you know what? We're going to read the whole chapter. We're going to read, let's read the whole chapter. Why not? James chapter 4. or Jacob in the Hebrew Bible. It says, where do quarrels and conflicts among you come from? Don't they come from this? Namely, your passions that battle within your body parts? You crave and have not. You murder and you envy, yet you cannot get it. You fight and you wage war. You do not have because you do not ask. You ask and do not receive because you ask with wrong motives. So you spend it on your passions. Oh, my back. You adulteress. Don't you know that friendship with the world is enmity with God? Therefore, whoever wishes to be a friend of the world makes himself an enemy of God. Or do you think that in vain the scripture says he yearns jealousy over the spirit which he made to dwell in us? But he gives greater grace. Therefore, it says, God opposes the proud and gives grace to the humble. Therefore, submit to God, but resist the devil and he will flee from you. Draw near to God and he will draw near to you. Cleanse your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. Lament and mourn and weep. Let your laughter turn into mourning and your joy into gloom. Humble yourself in the sight of Adonai, and he shall lift you up. Don't speak evil against one another, brethren. The one who speaks against a brother or judges his brother speaks evil against the Torah and judges the Torah. But if you judge the Torah, you are not a doer of the Torah, but a judge. There's only one lawgiver and judge, the one who is able to save and to destroy. But who are you who judges your neighbors? Come now, you say. Today and tomorrow we will go to such and such in town and spend a year there and engage in business and make a profit. Yet you don't know what your life will be like tomorrow. What is your life? For you are a vapor that appears for a little while and then vanishes. Woo! Instead, you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will live and also do this or that. But now you boast in your arrogance, and such boasting is evil. Therefore, whoever knows the right thing to do and does not do it, for him it is sin. I love that chapter. But resist the devil. The closer we get to God, the more we'll be able to resist. I wasn't as close as I am to God now back then, but I was getting closer from being far, far away. And I think because of that, I was able to escape some of the things and not put myself in a worse predicament than I did, right? And yeah, man, I hope y'all enjoy. Like, Uber was fun. Uber was fun. I regret it, but I don't regret it. But I'm glad I have the experiences that I have and the memories. With that being said, let's pray. Heavenly Father, just want to say thank you for another day above ground. Thank you for everything you've given us. Lord, I know we just made this episode of fun stories, Uber sharing, but I thank you that you kept me safe and far from temptation and far from promiscuity and far from violence all those days, Lord. And I pray that whoever's out there doing Uber today has people or any interaction with the world around them, Father God, that you just give them the heart to go ahead and just be strong and the willpower to be strong and walk away and just keep your peace. Lord, those that don't know you, open up their hearts and their minds to receive you, and I ask that you reveal yourself to them. Those that do know you and walked away from you, Father God, let them know, reveal to them that you're still waiting for them with your arms wide open, ready to receive them. And all of us that know you, Father God, remove us, the idols that we have made in our lives, humble us, and soften our hearts and draw us closer to you. Lord, I pray that everybody has a great week this week, and we thank you for everything you've given us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Listen, a little unorthodox. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I had fun in this episode. I really did. Talk about nothing. Talk about a little bit of everything. Why not share the Uber stories? Remember, man, next week, June 25th, 7 p.m. on YouTube, Laugh Dance Praise LLC YouTube page. Make sure y'all go subscribe, run that up. I'll see y'all next week, man, for episode 100. Like I said, we got a couple guests. Look out for the flyers. Make sure you follow us on IG at Laugh at Life Onour. Make sure you guys follow us on TikTok, Laugh Dance Praise LLC. We'll be changing that soon. Make sure you guys go to the website, www.laughdancepraise.com. Go get your merch while it's out now because we will be changing vendors. And there's a promo coming next week. We're going to run a promo on the merch. Y'all want to know what the promo is? Y'all got to come watch the episode next week. But with that being said, man, thank y'all. I love y'all. Remember to always laugh, dance, and give God all the praise. And with that being said, thank you, everybody, for tuning into the Laugh Dance Praise podcast. We is out. Peace.